Hey family, I want to tell you about a new book written by John Amo and Patty Amo. It's called Introduction to Twi for American Diasporas. Now, the book is going to focus on helping you learn the Akan language, culture, and Ghana as a country. It's also a guide through Ghana's most widely spoken language. Now, the book is supposed to help develop your awareness of social customs, cultural practices by combining historical, cultural, and social context with language training and grammar. This is the book that you want to pick up before you start heading for your first trip to Ghana. Pick up Introduction to Twi for American Diasporas today. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it has happened again to another black person. You know, a few weeks ago, we covered another lynching, because that's what we're going to call them here. We're not going to go with the race soldier narrative. And as a person that covers these stories, I pay attention to the patterns. I study historically, how lynchings were done. They morph lynchings today into the race soldiers saying, oh, it's just a suicide, when we know black folks don't even do things like that in the manner it's being done. And also, speaking of lynching, they still haven't passed that anti-lynching bill in the Congress at all. I wonder why. But we have a sister by the name of Mikayla Miller. She's 16 years old. She was an honor student out of Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Now, the demographics of that town as of 2021, as we can see here, this majority white town. OK, and it's about 84% white, 11% Asian, and 1.8% black. Now, you break down those numbers. There's only 333 black people in that town, 1,488 white folks, and 2,004 Asians. Being in a town where there's only 333 black people in these Mzungu enclaves, black folks, we got to think a little bit. I'm just saying for people in the future, before I get more into this story, we have the internet now. We can look at populations. I'm saying it's not safe for black people to be in areas like that where there's no numbers of us or no way for us to combat certain things. But unfortunately, our young sister was, killed. Now, the story goes is that she was having these issues with these white males. And from what also the reports are saying, some of them were Latino, but we don't know. It could be white Latino, because Latino could be white, black. It could be a whole lot of things, right? Because, they try to use Latino sometimes to get them off they scent when it could have been all white, right? Well, as we look at this story, Makayla was supposed to go to an HBCU. That's what she wanted to do. She was a student athlete at Hopkinton High School. They were saying that she wanted to actually study journalism. And we need more young brothers and sisters to get in journalism, because we need more and more people in the black media, but not that old decrepit crap that's, Democrat first. We're talking about those who are focused on the black community. They said that her mother had just, bought her a car. She never had any trouble at all. They said she was set up and jumped by some older white teenage boys on April 17th. They said before being found dead April 18th, and what it says to be a hate crime. Now, it said her body was tied to a tree with a belt wrapped around her neck. Now, let me get to these suicide folks, because I know you white supremacists, are watching, because you sit up there and you like to even review my videos. So here we go. So if she committed suicide her own, geniuses, then how did she tie herself to a tree? And then how does she have a belt around her neck? How does she do that? How? Now, the police at the time refused to investigate the death of Mikayla Miller as a, hate crime and a murder. Now, they went and talked to the mother. Now, this was the race soldiers done, right? They didn't refuse to test the evidence, and other evidence had been destroyed because they're in on it. I told y'all, them local race soldiers are in on the lynchings. If they're not doing it themselves, where some of them are part of these hate crime groups and giving them cover, then they're destroying evidence. They're getting rid of things. They're saying, oh, no, it's a suicide. Immediately, that's what they say. Because they learn that if we call it a suicide underneath this badge, people are going to believe it. See, if they go out doing what they used to do back in the day, and the Klan or some other, group do it, they're going to say, oh, shoot, man, they were lynched, right? Well, they know if they say that somebody black lynched, what's going to happen. They already know. So they found out over the years that you just tell black people it's a suicide, and we know that's not what it is, because black people at one point in time really trust the word of this Mzungu, they will believe it. Now black folks have finally waken up. Black folks have finally become enlightened to say, wait a minute, you can't trust nothing they say, because if they speaking to you, they lying. So you need to double check, triple check, investigate on your own. If you talk to the family and the family tells you what it is, I go with the word of family. I don't go with the word of these people, because I know who they are and what they do. Now, they said the race soldiers are refusing to interview the older white teenage boys who jumped Makayla prior to her death, and they wanted to be dismissive. Now, let me tell you what happened here. Now, after brothers and sisters found out about this at the grassroots level and put pressure on District Attorney Marion Ryan, that's when they let the family know, oh, well, it's still underneath investigation. But at first they didn't want to say that. Now, they said Sergeant O'Brien told Makayla's mother, this race soldier, just trust me, this is a suicide. And don't listen to this. And don't go public, because then they will know your daughter is gay. So that was their logic to cover it up. Hey, you don't want nobody to know your daughter's LGBT, do you? So don't say nothing about this. We live in a time period where if somebody is LGBT, that don't matter. At the end of the day, I told people this. I'm going to repeat this again. When it comes to us under attack in America, we're not being attacked because we're straight. We're not being attacked because we're LGBT. We're being attacked because we're black. And this race soldier using, well, hey, public embarrassment. You don't want nobody to know your daughter's LGBT, do you? And how do he even know that? Why does it even matter if someone's LGBT when they are brutally murdered? Why does that matter? Now, that statement alone should get him removed, because for you to say let's cover something up because someone is LGBT, then that lets me know right there that you knew what was going on and you're covering it up. And you're trying to make the parent feel like, oh, shoot, well, no, I don't want nobody to know my daughter was LGBT. Now, see, they don't tell this kind of stories about black LGBT, right? Because it's not about LGBT. It's about white supremacy attacking black people. So they said the autopsy hasn't been completed yet. And also they said that two of the white males, their fathers are police. That's also they're saying too. Makes sense. Covering it up. Because, a lot of times these little cop kids, they do so many things and their parents, that's cops, cover it up. But we know lynchings is going to be covered up here in America. Black people, look, I'm going to tell you again. I know some of you was making comments on social media saying that we should be able to move wherever we want in America. Technically, you should. You're a citizen. But you also got to use wisdom. Like the old people say, the Lord didn't give you 5 senses, use them. You should also trust your sense of danger. You should also want to be around your people enough to say, I have black people that I can lean on. Being 333 black people in a town is not a whole lot to lean on. Knowing, I told you, the more that they have in the town or area, they get bold. When it's more diverse, I'm going to say, if it's more equal or just more black people, they don't really try things too much. You understand? We should be moving for the safety of our community. We should be moving to towns where we're 1% of the population, 2% of the population, 3% of the population. No, we need to move to areas that is populous of black people. Major cities, that's where black people are at. These little rural towns, little small towns, no. For the safety of black people, no. You know, you want to move like here in Texas, Houston, Dallas, you know, that's definitely a lot of places where black people at. You know, you have New Orleans, like Louisiana, you got Atlanta, you got many, you know, cities that we can call out that has a lot of us, and that is a protection mechanism for us. Don't let no white supremacist be terrorizing your child, because we know the white supremacists where they take it. Because see, the white supremacists, they have an oppressive, you know, a way of doing things, and they crave power, and they get enjoyment out of oppression and death. So this is why they had to take it there. And black people, we got to keep our eyes open. Now, look, this is so egregious, and the way this has came out, even Ayanna Pressley had to come out and said that she wants an independent investigation to this happening. I've been screaming for years about black people still being lynched in modern times. I remember oh my God, I'm just remembering that. I remember the picture of where they found Donye Jones. And if you watch my interview with his mother, you know, and I posted on my community tab. If you have not seen that, please watch that video. When Donye Jones was found, he was found with his pants rolled down to his ankles, with his hands like he was in a struggle, and they lynched him with Navy knots. That brother didn't know nothing about no Navy knots at all. But yet they lynched that brother, and they want to say there was suicide. And then when they were taking the body down, the race soldiers were laughing, having a good time. Then the race soldiers in St. Louis went up to Donye Jones' brother and said, hey, you know who killed your brother? Now, I thought it was a suicide. Why would you go up to his brother and say, hey, do you know who killed? Like, I tell you, when I went up there to St. Louis, I'll never forget that, man. It's a spirit up there I didn't like. And now when I was talking to the brothers and sisters up there, they're like, I'm trying to go to Houston where y'all live. Man, how's it in Houston? I don't like it up here. You know, a lot of brothers and sisters was telling me that about St. Louis. And that's just one lynching story I actually got to go, you know, cover. And let me not say what I'm going to do, but that is something important to me. Exposing the lynchings that happen to black people in modern times. And these soldiers are complicit. They are totally at fault. This district attorney is at fault because they knew what happened. Come on now. Somebody be tied to a tree with a belt around their neck and that's suicide. How did they do that? I'm just trying to think about it. How do you tie yourself? But, you know, when it comes to the white supremacists, let me tell you something. They speak with the tongue of the devil. So you just never can believe them. Whatever they tell you is a total opposite. Because we know with common sense and logic that this young sister in our community did not do this to herself. And I'm going to repeat this again before I wrap this up. Do not let these intersectionalists try to come in and try to siphon off the seriousness of this case. Because what they would do is they're already trying to do it now. These LGBT groups are trying to come in. Yeah, this is an attack on LGBT. No, it's not. It's an attack on black people. We're not straight first. We're not LGBT first. We have to believe we are black first because black is under attack. Not our sexuality. It's black. Nobody out here is being killed in our group for what we do in the bedroom. But we killed for the color of our skin because we have a 400-year devil that's been on us and seeking to destroy black people. And that's documented proof. It's not pseudoscience. It's not conspiracy theory. It is the history of America. The relationship with the white supremacists and black people is to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's all you see that relationship being in this country, historically and even up to today. Don't y'all let them people come in here because they're going to try it. Come in here with that intersectionality. No. This is a black issue, an attack on black people and a black young girl. And I'm hearing right now that the community is about to pull up in that little small town and they're having a meeting, you know, over there like, oh my God, they're coming over here. What are we going to do? If you'd have done things the right way, they wouldn't have come. They wouldn't be coming. So now, you know, they pulling up to your city. It's just like that. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about, this horrible story to our sister, Mikayla Miller. And I will say, if anybody watching the video, if you know her family or her parents, have them to contact us here. We would like to talk with them if possible, because I know a lot of people may be watching, or you can spread the word to them. Please tell them to contact us because we would definitely want to get the story out, find out more what's going on that is being covered. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.